Welcome back to the Bar Talk Podcast. I am your host, Andy from Inebriart. And, if you follow anything online, you know there's always rumors of people dying when they're not really dead. I want to assure you all that, contrary to popular rumors, Karl is still alive.
Hello, everybody.
Karl, we missed you so.
I know you did. Can you not say that? People might be listening.
Karl, the New World Tavern here in Plymouth has been absent from the show for a long time and basically bribed us to come back.
But we're back because they made me do that Zoom thing, which was a little kind of funky for an old person. So, we're live and in person now.
No Zoomer for the boomer.
Yeah.
And they've been popular for a long time, so there's no reason not to do a food truck episode. So we reached out to our friend June at Mom on the Go Food Truck.
Hi.
Who had been on the Inebriart podcast way back. And you brought with us, Dave from Away Cafe.
Yes.
Welcome to the show, guys.
Thanks.
So, food trucks, we've been kind of sitting here chit-chatting about food trucks. What possessed you to get into the food truck business?
Well, me, I love to cook. I've loved to cook my whole life. So, Mom was a great cook. My sister kind of grew up. Food is love. So, between the Irish and Italian background, that's all we did was cook and eat.
But why a food truck opposed to, I feel like most people would go restaurant.
I love
They call that a brick and mortar.
A brick and mortar.
They do.
Thanks, Karl.
You're welcome.
Welcome back.
I also love to travel, so I owned RVs for many years, and I don't like to sit in one place long, so I thought the food truck was a perfect match for me.
Nice. And now, Dave, you were telling us you're in the construction business.
I am.
But somehow...
That's why I'm a full-time construction employee. My wife runs and operates our food truck during the week. I help her on the evenings, weekends. And she wanted to open a restaurant.
Yeah.
It's funny you asked that question. And I wanted her to buy a food truck to keep her from buying a restaurant. I thought it would be easier, not knowing anything about the food business.
And what's the determination? Is it easier?
Well, I went to UNH, and actually, years ago in the 80s, there was a guy there called Karl's Hamburger, and the early food truck.
Not mine.
He took an RV, he cut a hole in the side with a little window, and he was cooking on the grill in there, burgers and French fries and cheesesteaks, and he worked till 4 in the morning, and everyone at campus would line up for food. I said, wow, we got to do one of those mobile trucks where you can cook right on the truck. Being in the construction business, I've seen the old days, the canteen trucks.
The roach coaches, yeah.
Yes. They had lots of names. But I says, you could serve quality food out of a truck if you could cook it yourself, because most of the canteen trucks would buy it somewhere else. Someone else would cook it. They try to serve it before it got cold or turned to rubber. But the concept of, hey, maybe you could serve high-quality food, and my goal was to keep my wife from buying a restaurant because I thought that would be difficult. Turns out the food truck is probably more difficult after what I've seen.
And is it just the sheer number of licensing and permits?
Permitting is very difficult. We bounce around. Permits and fees, I average $15,000, $17,000 a year. Like 6 different states. One year, when I was really busy, 70 different towns in the course of a year. In every town, you have to have a permit and inspection. I recorded once in a long weekend, 6 inspections. Being in a restaurant owner, how often do you get inspected?
Here, it's probably every 6 months.
Right. So
depending on who it is.
I'd have 6 on a weekend. I became a professional permitter. How do you get through the inspection process? It's a tap dance.
So, on a food truck, because everybody in the world thinks, anybody can do a food truck. What have you seen the people come and go? What makes a food truck last? What makes Joe Schmo down the street not be able to do it?
What I was saying earlier was that the food truck, to me, it's 3 separate businesses. So you can run it like a restaurant where you have a location and people come to you. It's not like an ice cream truck where you drive around, or a canteen truck. I can't run from job site to job site. We have fryer-laters that you have to open up, heat up, shut down, because we cook to order. You order it, we pull it out of the fridge or freezer and cook it, prepare it, and sell it. We don't have anything pre-cooked that, sits on a shelf or a warming table. We hand it to you. Everything is cooked per order. And that's run like a restaurant. We talked before, like catering is completely different. Catering, someone calls, I have 100 people coming to my house, I want these 4 different items. I want to serve at 7 o'clock. Here's the check. They pay you up front. You come and serve it. You give them a 2-hour window, clean up and leave. And it's completely different. A lot of times it's a lot of work up front, meeting with customers, choosing a menu. Location's big. If it's out on the beach or in the woods, or we've done them on top of a mountain in New Hampshire for a wedding, you never know location. And all that, the menu, the location, it all goes into the price. It's a lot of work to get it all planned and done. But once a catered event is locked in, you're paid before you get there. So, there's advantages to it. You're not taking a risk. You buy the right amount of food, there's nothing left over. Whereas, like a vending event or a festival, you hope a lot of people come. You bring $2,000 of food product and no one shows up because it rained out when you're hanging on to a lot of food.
No, I'm old. So when I was a kid, you would go to the festival and there would be food trucks, but they would all are vendors there, and it would all be fried dough. So I see
Fair food.
more and more that it's fair food.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right?
Food, yeah.
Here's a corn dog and
And they'll
some
look
fried
like the
dough.
same style of truck with the same signage.
But it's
those are,
different things.
yeah, I know what you're talking about.
but it's not that way anymore.
But you see them like around here, the Marshfield Fairground. So
Yeah.
those are professional people that go around, and I've been doing this since 2007. I've never gone to the Marshfield Fair. I couldn't compete against those vendors. They're very specialized to that venue, that fair. Most of the people go in, they do one product. You get the bloomin' onion tent. You go in there, I want a bloomin' onion. You get the fried dough trailer, and you go over, you want a sausage, peppers, onion. But we'll have a 20, 30 item menu, and I couldn't compete against all those single individuals.
So if you wouldn't go to the fair at Marshfield,
I never have, no.
What fairs do you hope to get as a food truck
I've
vendor?
never gone to a fair. It's
We do
a different
festivals.
animal.
So,
It's a different animal.
for example, like a local festival around here would be, say, Levitate in Marshfield. They have 30,000 people over a weekend. They don't allow any fair food. They have a broccoli truck. They have my truck, his truck. So they're looking for sort of more
Quality.
or upscale.
And do you feel like in the food truck world, it's more where like the fair food is specialized, where you're like, we make fried Twinkies and that's it.
Right.
But the food truck is more like you said, broccoli trucks are like, oh, we're vegan truck. Or
Yeah,
like, I know
it's
this-
total-
Well, June,
it's
what
a-
do you do for Mom on the Go? Right, that's the name of
Yep,
your company.
yep.
That's the name of your food truck also.
It is. Yep.
What is the food that Mom on the Go sells out of the food truck?
Grilled cheese. So we're a grilled cheese specialty truck.
You are.
Yep.
Is it multiple grilled cheese or just grilled cheese? Here's your.
Yep. No, it's multiple grilled cheese. So
So give us an example of your menu.
we always do the classic because everyone expects that. But apple bacon cheddar is one of our
I had
popular
a
ones.
loaded baked potato one.
Yeah, loaded baked potato.
A loaded baked potato grilled cheese.
Yeah.
I almost can't even say it.
I know, right? There's a lot.
It's-
But it was really good.
Thank you. We do like a buff chick grilled cheese, or seasonal. We'll do a turkey grilled cheese, with cranberry and stuffing and all that. So right now we're doing a garden zucchini grilled cheese. So we try to change it up for the season.
And what about you, Dave? What's the menu like on your truck?
Well, it changes. Like I said, the 3 businesses. So we have a catering menu, which is separate from our daily route menu, which is separate from our festival menu. So there's different versions.
So you can just do pretty much anything you want.
We have like a full kitchen. Our truck was set up when we started. There weren't a lot of food trucks around. In fact, I don't think there was any around that I really knew of. Boston didn't open up permitting till I think 2010 or 11. And back then, I used to go to events, and traditional vendors would have set up a tent, and they'd pull equipment out. There was no really trucks that had commercial kitchens inside. So we had a big menu, and we tried to do like a full menu. Today, and I would do it differently. Just it seems that the trucks that come along now specialize in an item, like the grilled cheese truck, the taco truck, the pizza truck, the burger truck. I mean, it seems to be the way to go now.
But you haven't even mentioned it. You do fantastic Thai food.
My wife's Thai, and a big part of our following was Thai food. So during the week, we sit in the Hingham Industrial Park near the hospital, and our big customers are the hospital. And she custom makes Thai food, and it's restaurant quality food out of a truck. And we still offer burgers and hot dogs. We have a lot of truck drivers come through. It's a big parking lot, so it's easy access for them. It's an industrial park, so a lot of delivery trucks. And the guys tend to get, the sausage, peppers, onion, or the cheesesteak sub, or
They have a
whole pork sandwich.
Big menu. Big truck, big menu.
So we have probably 15 American items and about 8 or 9 Thai food items. But the Thai food is a big following.
So I'm guessing that your truck isn't the size of an ice cream truck or a
It's 30-foot Freightliner.
So it's a pretty big truck. So is it competitive out there, or is it a friendly atmosphere with the other food trucks?
I think we're pretty friendly. And
I think we're friendly now.
We're not talking about you two.
No, I want to say, so I came on 4 years ago into the food truck scene, and my background was insurance, and we always had associations and so forth, and when, I was like starting out, and I was looking for an association to kind of have help or guidance, or there was none, and so I started going around talking to people saying, let's do an association, and I think the reaction at first was, I'm not going to tell you anything, and there was I'm not giving up my secrets. I had to learn the hard way. You learned the hard way, and I have to say, I think now it's having the association.
I think it's been great. You could fight the other trucks. You could be competitive. We are competitive businesses, but we get along. We compare notes and we help each other out. There might be a couple on the apples in the group that.
Which I'm sure there always is.
Yeah.
But if you ran out of ice, could you walk to another truck and say, "Hey, listen, can I borrow some ice?"
Now we can.
Or is it the point now where you don't want to go over and because this guy's going to say, "Hey, screw you, I'm going to."
No, we help each other out.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah. I think it took a little time, but people realized, there's enough business for everyone, and we weren't stealing each other's business or anything like that. It's a cooperative.
And I think that in my point of view. And these are all just my opinions, but people think the food trucks are just run of the mill. Just get a truck, cut a hole in it, and you can do whatever you want.
Right.
Is it professionalism? Is it flimsy? You guys sound like this is what you do for a living. Except for Dave, who's construction, so he doesn't even make his wife do it.
There's a lot. I would say a lot of I've had a lot of people come up to me and say, I've worked in a restaurant, so I want to have a food truck, and I said that's great. They're very different. They're very different animals, and the most recent one of our friends that started up about a year ago was a chef for 20 years, and he said I'm going to do a food truck, and I said it's different. It's harder in different ways, and he poo-pooed it, and he just said to me last week, boy, were you right. He said, not only do you have, a mobile kitchen that everything goes with that, a full kitchen, but you also have a vehicle. A
great chef doesn't make a great business person. It doesn't mean you have a great food truck.
Right. Just because you can make great food.
Because you have great food, there's so much more marketing, and there's a lot more.
It's a business.
Yes.
Well, it sounds like when you guys...
Just because you can drive and cook, you shouldn't have a food truck.
Well, it sounds like when you guys are kind of courting a customer, you have to find a festival or a catering gig and meet with them ahead of time. So it sounds like there's a lot of grooming that customer ahead of time, where Karl can just open the door.
Yeah.
I tell you what's amazing.
We're going to walk by.
What's amazing is that I have this expression. We have a cult following. That people that come to a food truck, it's different than a restaurant. Someone comes in here to this restaurant, gets seated or greeted by the host and gets seated, and the waitress comes over, takes their order, and you leave, you tip your waitress, and you go. You never saw the cook, you never saw the owner, usually. I'm not saying always, but usually. And
unless he's drunk at the bar.
You have your favorite
like
favorite
the New World Tavern.
People usually walk out of here and be like, whew, I didn't see the owner.
You like the host, or you like the person that waited your table. That's what, but when you come to a food truck, you're typically looking at the owner, and that person is cooking your meal and taking your money. And you ask, can I have it done this way? And they do it the way you want because they're the owner. They care. They're not just a cook. So you get these people that they were following. And people, like my wife's from Thailand. I'm born and raised in Weymouth. We're based out of Weymouth. I go around
I'm a Weymouth boy.
And they go, hey, that's Portia's husband. And I go, wait, I lived here my whole life. She's from the other side of the planet, and I'm known as her husband. She's famous because of her food.
Yeah,
Now-
it's funny.
Again, I think people think that, okay, you get in the truck, you drive to the ball field, and you're ready to go. How many hours do you put on the truck before and after you're really...
Oh, that's a
But
great
that's,
question.
that's
That's
the
a great
big
question.
one.
Because people think that you just show
Show
up,
up and
No.
you
and you're
serve
good.
for
No.
2
Hey,
hours.
and they were
you
there for
leave.
2 hours. What a
No.
great gig.
Yeah.
The size of the festival determines the prep, but even a 2-hour event could end up being a 10, 12-hour day.
Not could, is.
So do you
Yeah.
cook in your truck before you get to the event? As prep?
You know, sometimes we do, sometimes we don't.
Or are you just getting ready to
Some-
cook?
I mean,
Time.
I serve tomato soup, so yeah, I'm making vats of tomato soup
Right.
or whatever. So it depends on the truck and the food they're serving, but yeah, for every 2-hour event, even if it's not a festival, there's at least 2 hours ahead and 2 hours afterwards. So, to do a corporate lunch, you're blocking out 6 hours for sure.
A big 2-day festival would be Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday night would be 2 pallets a night at Restaurant Depot of food. And I say a pallet, a ton of food in a minivan with the bumper dragging on the ground, just full of sailing, fill the walk-in, trips of soda, 200 cases of soda. They have to be in a walk-in and brought down. The temperature, it takes 48 hours. All that has to be planned ahead of time. Prepping chicken tenders, prepping pulled pork, prepping. So every night's a prep.
Yeah.
When we go to an event, we'll on a good event, we'll feed. People laugh at me. Sometimes 1,500 to 1,800 meals per day. So on the course of a weekend, could be 3,000 meals out of a truck with 6 people. It's an immense amount of planning.
Well, let's talk
Food
about
prep.
that. You get 6 people in your truck. It's not like you can walk away from somebody that's pissing you off. What's the relationship like with the 6
team.
people that's in the truck?
It's a team.
You feel like
your
punching them in the
your
head
elbow-
afterwards,
your
or you feel
elbow.
like hugging them? But
We've had like everyone, you have your issues, but we work as a team. We talk ahead of time. We get a strategy. You're in the heat of the battle. I pay people exceptionally because I expect them to work hard. There's no breaks. There's no.
Festivals are extremely
I get
grueling.
when's my 15-minute break?
Right.
The
Yeah.
lines are
I'm going to
full.
go out and
That
take a
doesn't-
smoke break. Yeah.
The lines
No,
are,
that doesn't happen.
and I reward them at the end, and everyone's happy, and they want to work the next event.
Right.
Typically, these festivals are, 3 days events, usually Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and, it's 16, 17-hour days. For
And still, I mean, how many trucks at a festival?
it varies. I mean, like, I think Levitate
It's
has
amazing
20,
that there's that
20
much
trucks or
business
something.
for a food truck at a festival.
Oh, gosh, yeah.
Like, the numbers baffle me that
Yeah.
there's
So-
that many people.
How do you handle the orders coming in? With a place like this, they ring it up, it prints out and back, and then you know what table it's going to. When
Two
there's-
completely different.
We have all different,
when
so,
there's a
Different methods,
line of
different
people and they come up to the window and order and step off somewhere, like how do you even know where
so
that
it's
person
the
goes?
same type of concept. So, it's electronic. We use Square. They take the order on the iPad. It prints. I mean, even though it's not back in the kitchen, it's behind
yeah,
them.
yeah.
So, we have a ticket rail and you make the order and then they call out the name when it's ready. You match up the food to the ticket. Very similar to a restaurant, except my husband calls it like a submarine experience,
Yeah.
because trying to get 6 people in
Right.
a food truck, it's, I said, you can say sorry once when you bump someone and then that's it. Because you just
Because it's going to happen all night
all
long.
night
Yep.
long. So,
And then you say, Bob, your food's ready. Bob, for Christ's sakes, where's Bob?
That's all I can envision. just
Screw
like
Bob. Next.
30
Yeah.
people waiting for food and just
yep.
We have a big event. We do it old school. So we have me and my friend and the manager. We work outside, cash in hand, no register. Everything's rounded off to
Outside
a dollar.
in front of the
no
truck they
change,
work at.
no
Yeah.
receipt. Haul the order in. Have a steam table full, and we big events. We narrow our menu down. We pick products that hold well. Everything's cooked, and we just people assemble sandwiches, French fries, chicken tenders, burgers, sausage. It's all just assembled.
Just
as
keep
fast
going.
as you
Just
can.
keep going.
We've done the math at the end of the day. We'll serve a customer. I think our record was a person every 13 seconds. But that's 2 lines, so it's 26 seconds per person. That's, hello, how you doing? What would you like to eat? Here's your food. That's $12 and make change. Next. And you do that for 12 hours without stopping. It's
Now,
literally, it's just rolls.
How pissed are you when the person's clearly been in line for like 15 minutes and they get up to the window?
They don't know.
And they go, what did you want again?
It happens
Like,
all the time. Yeah. We, at festivals, you try to do your marketing a little bit different. So most of us have menu menu boards on the truck, but at like a festival, I'll put one 50 feet out, at
So
the
they can
beginning.
kinda, like,
so they can
start
kind of
thinking.
look at this menu
Yeah.
before they get up to the truck, yeah.
And that's just one aspect of the food truck. I mean, we do triathlons, flea markets, car shows. They're a lot different than the big 3-day ones. We'll go out do a 4-hour car show. We'll serve 200, 300, 400 people.
And do these people find you, or do you find them?
Both. It's funny, when I started years ago, I called myself the hot dog salesman. That I was like promoting myself, pushing. Oh, I want to come to you. Why should I let you come in here? When you push yourself on someone and try to sell yourself, well, what's in it for me? Why should I let you come here?
Right.
And then when they come to you, it's the other way around. It's like, I don't know if I can make it. I'm booked.
Right.
It's a really funny phenomenon when you
you've
promote yourself, and then when people come looking for you, the whole game changes. And
That's
I think
a great feeling, though, that day when it
I-
turns
Dave's
around.
the only
tried
one, and
so
he
hard.
reminds people in our association because you're the.
I try
I
so
don't want
hard.
to say the oldest trucker. You're the longest trucker
I've
in
seen
our
more come and go.
association. But it's been a different experience. I would say the last 5
Oh,
years
yeah.
because the South Shore. There's been food trucks in big cities, but the excitement of having
when
food
3
trucks.
food trucks came to the South Shore, I says, "That's it. We'll go out of business." It was hard enough with just me. Now I got to compete with other people. Our business doubled, and then there was 10 food trucks, and it tripled. And there was 30, and it quadrupled. The more food trucks came around, the more popularity came to the industry, the better we did. I struggled in the beginning because there was no industry there. There was no one. People would look at me like, "Oh, we don't eat off a canteen truck."
yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah, no,
we had the road code.
Absolutely.
We had to overcome it.
That's right.
We struggled. It wasn't that our food was just as good in 07 as it is today, but no one wanted to eat off our truck.
Now, where do you see the food truck business going now that you say, the more food trucks, the more business?
I don't think it's
is
peaked yet. I keep saying it.
Not around here for sure.
Has it?
No,
No,
I
it's
mean,
still
I
growing.
think there's places
The
where
demand. We
there's
can't keep up the demand.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about towns. You said that it's different permit for every town, and without naming any towns, but like
I have a
is it-
blacklist.
Do you have a blacklist? What
towns are
towns?
so
What
different.
towns? No, I'm just kidding.
I was told not to.
But no, I guess my question is, I know some towns are going to be easier to deal with. I mean, that's just
Yep.
Some are
throughout the
food
United
truck friendly and
States.
some aren't. Some
Right.
they make the permit process difficult. If it gets too difficult,
But just for our listeners, you can't just get a food truck and drive to the beach and say, "Okay,
No.
I'm opening my food truck."
No.
I personally think, and June and I hope that maybe between we advocate for ourselves and lobby the state that this should be a generic Massachusetts state permit. Rhode Island did it like that for years. This is changing a little bit. But
So really,
So
if,
just
if,
to-
you're,
like-
if you get licensed in one town, it should be good for 6 months in all towns.
So there are a few states where you can get a statewide food truck
Okay.
license. So, you get your hawkers and peddlers and your serve safe and you get all those things. But once you get it, you're good for the whole state. There are other states where it's countywide. Massachusetts is one of the few states that, we have fiefdoms and every single town requires
Permitting.
a permitting.
I think we
So,
should
like, in
follow.
other words, we were talking about inspections earlier. I mean, I think in the spring, I do at least 40 inspections. I get inspected at least 40 times.
with all the different towns that you expect to go to or
Right.
hope to go to throughout the
So
year.
the interesting thing is with COVID, I had mentioned that I'm on the MEMA, the Massachusetts Emergency Management Feeding Task Force, and they were about a month in, starting to have food supply chain problems. I hope it's okay. I'm changing the topic slightly.
No, go ahead.
Okay. And so I was on this task force where there were, 20, 25 other organizations, and one of them was the Department of Public Health, and they're the ones that run the Board of Health. So they were saying, geez, well, we could use some food trucks. Like there were some up in Lowell that were doing the school meals.
Okay.
So for feeding the kids, they had a food truck at each. And they said, we might have more call for food trucks during the COVID situation with some of the supply chain issue. And I brought up the issue that we have. I can't just drive to some town and do a thing.
Right.
So
No matter what the need.
no matter what. So I worked with the head of the Department of Public Health, and he put out a statement that during a state of emergency, that each town Board of Health would be allowed to accept your home base Board of Health inspection and
Oh,
permit.
that's awesome.
So, it cleared the red tape.
Yeah.
which is
I have my own
something.
angle is that we should be treated like a caterer. I actually have a catering license. You at this restaurant could get a catering license. You could go serve food in Weymouth if someone said, if you had a catering license here, you could cook the food, package it properly, transport it, serve it. It's perfectly legal. But you don't need to get a permit in Weymouth because you have a catering license and you're covered with your catering permit. I have a catering permit, and the towns are supposed to accept it, but they know I'm a food truck. So they say, oh, no, we want a mobile license from you.
So do you think that they're just not, let's call it, up with the times? To say,
Yes.
hey, this is a new phenomenon coming up. We got to...
I think that's
We should be
part of
treated
it.
like a caterer.
Because they,
it's-
like
it's
you
a-
said, in 2007, nobody cared.
No. But
Now
it's-
that there's more and more and more, you're still with the old rules from way back when.
Yeah, and it's also a revenue stream for these towns.
Correct.
I
That's true.
So,
there's
you know,
5
there's-
towns in Mass that accept my catering license. And if you read the law, the way I interpret it, they have to, and they agree. But then you go to the next town, and they say, oh, no, we interpret it differently. We want your mobile food
Correct.
permit license.
Correct. Now, is that the most frustrating thing with the food truck, or like is the permitting? Where you say you go in town to town to town,
The
or
most
is there?
frustrating.
Yeah, well, I mean, what most frustrating on
It wasn't
on
one of
things
my,
you can
my
plan on.
biggest complaints, because I'm not the cook, and I'm not doing the daily prepping of food. I'm doing the business end. So for me, yes, it's a lot of work. When we're busy and we've got 2, 3, 4 events every weekend, and some during the week, it's full time just to get a permit.
And you have one truck?
One truck.
Jesus.
Yeah, so it's a lot of work.
And you've got one truck.
2.
You have 2 trucks. Both the same concept?
Yep.
Okay.
So, with this association, is it kind of like a thing where if someone calls Dave and says, "Hey, we want you on such and such a day for catering or a festival or whatever," he's already booked. Do you then be like, "Hey, what about Mom on the Go?" Or
So yeah, when we
Jimmy's
first
surf
got up and
truck or
running,
whatever.
it was just, I think it's been 3 years now. It was informal.
Yeah.
And it's grown. So now we have a website and people can fill out booking forms. You can select all trucks. You can select certain trucks. And so last year, I think the website, we got, over 600 leads coming in.
oh wow,
If they
Yeah.
call me now, I can't do it. I say, go on Food Truckers.
So we just
Social
at least
food
have a
truck,
place
post
to
it.
say
oh, so you
go.
just send them to the website.
Go
And what is the website?
South Shore Food Truck Association.org.
You got to type all that in?
You just go. You Google.
Wow.
By the time you get to food truck,
It'll pop up.
complete.
Oh, is that what happens?
Yeah.
So, let's talk about fun stuff.
Okay.
What is, in what you've seen, what is the worst thing that somebody's had a food truck to come that they were serving, and you said, "Oh my God, I can't believe this guy's serving this." Not bad food, just the weirdest kind of thing. I mean, is anybody just doing?
Weirdest food.
Yeah, like is anybody like so off the wall? You're like, this guy's serving this. I never even thought about that.
I'm amazed what works. I event we did Salem, New Hampshire, in the town green 40 food trucks. And it's funny. I always clarify they're not all food trucks. There's some food vendors there, and they call it a food truck festival. But it's a big difference when you're driving with a food truck and then you set up a tent and you pull a grill out of your trunk. And I see that it's legal if you do it properly, but things I see that'll never work, and then I can't believe how long their line is. They go, well, why? So I just look at them, I study them, like, why are they so busy? Like a great example, Mexican street corn. The guy pulled in, he literally set up a tent. He just did one product. He did Mexican street corn, and you could have 3 different toppings on it, and his line was a mile long from the sun came up to the sun went down. Why was it so popular? I have no idea.
I got one. Vegan popsicles.
Vegan popsicles.
Vegan
Yeah, why
popsicles?
would that?
Yeah. So
And they line up.
and they line up, and they're super expensive.
So how do they do it?
That's terrible. But they're quality ingredients. So it would be like chocolate, chili, or unbelievable flavors.
Sorry, go on.
No. So yeah, the vegan popsicles. I was like, wow, who ever thought of that? How can you make money? And the next thing you know, big long line for vegan
Yes.
popsicles.
So it's amazing.
Chocolate chili.
The entrepreneur and people, they have to look at what the demand is. You have to have a concept. You have to have a product that's good, but you also have to market it properly. You can have the best food in the world. If you don't market it properly, how come my food's so good no one's eating? And I could name 10 people that I know of, even in our group, they have great food, but they just didn't market it properly. And eventually
is
they
it
figure
just
it
that
out.
like it's you know, like how much is like the appearance of the truck?
Oh,
Is
I
it
think
just because it's
it's
like
a
a
lot.
run of the
It's
mill?
everything.
It's a
everything.
lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot. I mean, if people can't read your menu, if you have too many items and it's confusing, if your concept isn't, you know, especially at a festival, if you're in a field with 20 other food trucks and you scan and you can't tell what that person serves,
You might pass it by.
you might pass it by. So, you know, my truck is red. It says authentic grilled cheese. People know exactly
If you
what
can
it
see it
is.
from 100 feet away,
Yes.
they make the decision from 100 feet
Yeah.
away. They couldn't read the other 10 menus,
That's
so
right.
they said, "Oh, I want a grilled cheese."
Right. So, yeah. So,
So a food truck festival has always interested me. I've never been to one, but a lot of them you pay an admission.
not a lot. No.
No?
No, it's actually less common
Oh, really?
to have
Okay.
it. Plymouth did one
Did
with
one
a
with
fee,
admission.
which was quite unusual. Most food truck festivals are free.
Okay.
But
That makes more sense to me. But when you do them, do you try to have something more like a bite size or tapas kind of thing? Because if I go, I'd want to try like multiple trucks. But if I get a grilled cheese
Walk
sandwich from
around
you
food, too big of a meal.
Yeah.
They want a sample, so you sample size down. For a great example, we took our Thai dish, drunken beef, which is a very popular Thai dish. But you
That
go
was
to
my
Thailand,
nickname,
it'll
Karl.
say right in the menu
Drunken
in
beef.
English, it'll
Nice.
say drunken beef in English in Thailand when you go there. So they actually call it in Thailand, they call it drunken beef. But we took it, put it on a taco shell, and called it a Thai taco, and it's been hugely popular. And it's easy. And the reason is it's cheaper. You can buy one or two, but you can walk around and eat it. Where the other one, it's a knife and fork, and you're sitting down.
Mhm.
It's more of a dinner. So that answers your question about
Oh yeah. So 'cause-
walk around food is
Yeah.
a lot easier.
Yeah.
so food truck festival. So like we have the food truck Tuesday every week, and we had started this off at the Hanover Mall, but that's under construction. So now we're in Hanover still, but it's Forge Pond Park on King Street. And we were just doing Food Truck Tuesdays. We got the okay to open up. This is our 5th week. So it's been tremendous, and we have regulars. So they'll try one truck one week, and the next week, you know, it keeps people coming back when you
Yeah.
have a variety like that.
Variety.
With COVID, you know, it's been a challenge, but we do the
People are
social
dying to get out.
distancing, the
Oh, yeah.
cones, the, you know, signage, you know, we do all of it,
Yeah.
and it's been great. So it's been so successful, we've added Thursdays.
Now, I deal with a lot of breweries, and a lot of the breweries now, because of COVID, have to do. They either can't open because they don't have a kitchen, so a lot of them have the food
Yeah.
trucks coming down, so that they can open as a
Yeah.
brewery, which I guess fills the law with it. But I'm hearing, and I want to know what the difference is from your perspective. What is the difference between a food truck and a pop-up kitchen? Because I'm hearing the pop-up kitchen now more and more and more.
So
Less overhead, it sounds
yeah,
like. So
well,
you can-
so we have a lot of brewery friends, and you know, food trucks and breweries definitely go together. You know, they would love if you could come to their brewery every Saturday. Now that might be as you know, difficult for
you're
me
a draw
because
for
I'm
them.
we're a draw for them.
Mhm.
But at the same time, you know, there's only so many people you're going to serve at a brewery, and you try to mix that in with festivals or whatnot. So I understand they have to sort of maybe reach out a little bit more, and they're having some pop-up tents. So a lot less overhead. They're making 1 or 2 or 3
So a
items.
pop-up kitchen or a pop-up tent would be more of the Mexican street corn guy.
Yes.
Exactly, or maybe
Than
something
it
you
would be
even
for a
see
food
at
truck.
Right.
Marshfield Fair, you'd have a little tent and the guy selling just sausage, peppers, onions. He specializes in that. He makes his own.
Hey, not to
ingredients.
put it down, a lot of great food trucks and restaurants have started with the pop-up concept.
Right.
Los Jefes.
Those
and,
Jefes, yeah, they were
Los
pop-up,
Jefes
yeah.
were part of our group
Yeah.
as
Ron
a
Emmis.
pop-up. And, yeah.
Ron Emmis, way back in the day, was just down
Yeah.
at Legion Field.
Yeah. So, you know, sometimes people start that way and then either move to a truck or a brick and mortar or, you know, it's fantastic food coming out of
See how she
some
said
of
brick
these
and mortar?
towns.
That's industry talk. You don't even get it.
I liked it better when Karl wasn't on the show. Where's Jordan? We do see a lot of trends in restaurants. Like for a while, there's 1 or 2 places that had Brussels sprouts. Now it seems like every restaurant you go to has Brussels sprouts on the menu. Is it the same way with food trucks, where like suddenly you see 4 street corn trucks at events, opposed
Yes.
to like yeah,
And food
Well, I would
trends,
say tacos.
I think.
Everyone likes tacos, and
Yeah.
Tacos, you
they
know,
keep taco trucks.
Well, I would say
Keep
grilled
popping up.
cheese
It's
too.
all
I mean, do you
tater tots.
when you're-
it's
yeah.
hot, you know, but
I mean,
but I would
when
say
you go to a festival or the association or wherever it may be, that there's a group of food trucks, and another grilled cheese food truck comes in, Are you like, oh, there's the other grilled cheese food truck? Or you're like, Christ sakes, I can't believe that friggin' guy's here.
She flattens her tires.
It depends on the crowd, right?
Yeah.
If it's a
I think
huge
I've heard
30.
you say that before.
Yeah, I might have.
Like
You know,
you're saying-
if there's
so-
1,000 people, 10 trucks, and there's
Right.
2 of the same.
So if
of
you're an
everything,
event-
Yeah.
if
it's
you're
going
at
to
an
cut
event-
your stuff in half.
June, if you're at an event and Dave pulls up,
Yeah.
are you like, oh, there's Dave? Or you're like,
No,
there's
we
Dave?
love
We
it.
don't have grilled cheese.
No, we love it. When it's a mix of
Yeah.
food. I don't hate all other grilled cheese trucks, but obviously, if you're selling the same
Right.
product, you want to, spread.
Because
that
there's a
out
restaurant that I can't move.
right?
And, whatever I make here, the guy across the street can do the same thing.
Yeah.
There's no rules that says he can't do it.
That's right.
And then, it just causes a lot of animosity sometimes within the restaurants. I didn't know if that was the same thing.
I mean, it's
On a
if you
small
go-
scale, on a small scale, because
yeah.
it happens to us for a 3-hour event. You're stuck all week long looking
Yeah.
across the street at another pizza. So you're selling pizza. Oh, there's another pizza place across the
Right.
street?
It also has to do with the promoters. If you're going to have a food truck festival of 15 trucks, don't put me next to the other grilled cheese truck. Put us down
Right.
opposite ends.
Or don't book 4 taco trucks.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Do you walk down and try their stuff and say, this is shit?
Oh, yeah. All the time. Yeah.
Yeah. I do the same
Goddamn
thing with
grilled
restaurants.
cheese.
I don't know. There's some
Then I
great
walk
concepts.
by and say, this is shit. And I'm really thinking, Jesus,
There's
actually
some great
pretty
concepts
good.
out there. Some people have some great concepts. They think it
Yeah.
through.
Yeah.
I'm always amazed how it's an entrepreneurial spirit. People that figure it out. They have a product that someone will like, and they hit it,
Yeah.
and they're busy.
Oh, I mean, look what they're doing with hot
I get
dogs
jealous.
today. We have, one of our new members of the group, Flashback Franks. I mean, they're doing mac and cheese on hot dogs. They're
Right.
doing,
Yep.
aiolis. They're doing, it's
Our
cool.
first
the
2
creative
years in
stuff.
business, I refused to sell hot dogs. I told my wife, I don't want to be known as a hot dog truck. You're going to do good quality food. We're going to do something different that no one else has done. And 50% of our customers came to the truck and say, I want a hot dog. And we said, sorry, we don't carry hot dogs. We have good food. And they would get mad at us and leave and wouldn't buy anything. So after 2 years, we said, we're going to have to start serving hot dogs. They go, if we're going to serve hot dogs, let's figure out who makes the best hot dog. So we literally was a science project for a couple months to figure out how we're going to serve good hot dogs. And we started carrying them. And some days it's 50% of our sales. People love hot dogs. So we carry them because that's what people want.
Right.
And if I don't have them, they get mad at me.
Yep. No, I've resisted the hot dog.
Because you have to have a hot dog.
No, but it's funny
You
in the
can do
food
a
truck world.
hot dog
Right.
grilled cheese.
I know, we
Come on.
could.
We don't
we
even
could.
make a lot of money off the hot dogs, but we carry them because that's what people want.
But all the concept trucks like mine, like grilled cheese truck or taco truck, we all laugh because inevitably you always have people coming up to your concept truck saying, can I have a hot dog? They walk up to the taco truck saying, can I have a hot dog? They walk up to the burger truck saying, can I have a hot dog?
We have a logo on the side, of it, only logo on our truck. It says, not just Thai food, more than hot dogs. Because literally, someone will come to the window and, you want to get a burger and you see a Thai woman, an Asian woman. It's like, I wonder if she can cook a hamburger.
Can't say Asian.
Or should I? No?
You can if
You
it's
can
his
say-
wife.
You can
yeah.
say
It's
Asian?
my wife.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you can say Asian.
That's
We're
my
trying
wife.
to get Carl to be PC.
Oh,
It's a work in
joke,
progress.
We joke. I can joke with my wife about it, but no. So they, I says, if I want a taco, I want the guy to at least have a Spanish accent if he's cooking my taco. If I go to a Japanese restaurant to get sushi, I would hope that he's from Japan. If I went in there and Carl, you were cooking my sushi, I'd set the question, well, maybe.
Maybe Kyle doesn't know what he's doing.
Exactly. So the fact
Kyle's
that
cooking the sushi.
people come up and they look at the menu, they go, should I get the pad thai? It's probably really good because they're looking at my wife. Or should I get the burger? She's from Thailand. Does she know how to cook a burger? They don't have burgers in Thailand. That's my take on it.
See,
I disagree
things you don't think
wholeheartedly
about.
with that. That was the.
You disagree?
Of course, I think
That's my perspective.
I got you.
And what's your
Carl,
June?
if you
Come
wanted
on.
to make me sushi, I would try it.
I'll make you sushi, baby.
Thank you.
I wouldn't recommend eating anything. Carl makes.
What are you talking about? I own a restaurant. You're not supposed to say that
You
out
have a
loud.
great kitchen staff.
Oh, my God. That's why, forget it. So, if somebody was to start a food truck, right? What are the definitely do and definitely don'ts?
I could talk them out of it.
Well, how about this? Let's change the question. Would you do it again?
That's a great question.
Hello.
Silence. Hear the silence. Hear a pin drop. I don't know if I know the answer to that.
June?
Yes, but my goal is I've already franchised out my first truck. My goal is to grow the brand It's a very tough grind to have one truck. It's very hard on your body. It's hard physically. It's hard mentally. You're working 7 days a week for 10 months, and then you're off for 2 months when nobody else is off.
Busy
January,
season.
February.
So that's a good question. So how does this really? How do you deal with family life? I mean, if you guys are
It's
2,
tough.
3, it's
7
nights,
days a
it's
week.
weekends,
It's tough.
it's
Yeah.
I
It's
mean,
tough. So that's the one sort of upside to COVID is although our business is
Exactly.
down 50 to 70%,
It's a
depending
good
on the
reset
truck.
button to step
It's,
back and not work weekends.
It's been nice to be with family
we had the
again.
flexibility. We just re-looked at our business like, look, we can do whatever we want. We're not stuck in a storefront and a brick and mortar. So we'll just move to a different location. We'll stop doing festivals. We'll put more effort into our daily route. We picked up some dinners we do, the Food Truck Tuesday. So
Be more
we
flexible.
just shifted around. So
now it's you and your wife. Any kids? Are they involved? Anybody else
they
in
are
the
now.
family?
I mean, when they started out, they weren't.
Are they
old enough.
thrilled, or are they just like, oh shit, I got to go work with mom and dad?
Teenage. Well, they're college students, so
Yes, so
they work for us.
so they're thrilled.
reluctantly. Don't tell them, but they're going to get our money whether we pay them or not. So if they work for us, we're getting free work out. Even though we pay them,
Right.
we're going to pay them anyways.
Right. And does it drive you nuts that they're with you? Because it's easy for me to yell at my kids than it is my employees. And sometimes I take it out on the kids, and the kids are like, "I'm not working with dad."
I'm
Jesus
hoping
Christ,
it's a
I'm
life. I'm hoping it's a life. Have family business. Me, my wife, and my 2 boys. We've done events. It's all 4 of us. It's a great thing. I hope they learn something from it. A different perspective than if you go to school, get a degree, go work for a company. If you've seen your parents struggle with running a business and what we go through with employees and making sure we show up on time and how important it is, you have a different perspective.
That's
on
correct.
Now, do you think it's something that they want to carry on?
No.
No.
What about you, June?
Yeah, I have 3 sons and
3 boys, me and
3
you.
boys. Yeah, 2 of the boys, the younger
No
ones.
daughters?
Nope.
You know why? Because God loves us.
You can say that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
all boys.
And so 2 of them have worked on my truck. They were younger. I think the youngest one I fired maybe 4 or 5 times now.
You fired your own kid?
Oh
I
yeah,
haven't-
yeah,
In the
many
weekend.
times,
Yeah.
yeah. But it's you say to your kid, oh, go do this. Why are you saying that, Mom? It's like, you're my employee right now. You're not my kid. But my kid would never talk like that when they go work for somebody
Correct.
else.
Right, yeah.
Correct.
So we've
It's a different dynamic.
parted ways, and then they've come back, and it's been much better. So it's always tough working with family. Always tough.
It's a great learning experience.
It is.
My son left, refused to work for us, went wash dishes at a local Italian restaurant, worked his butt off, and for 6 months, and then quit after 6 months. And he came home. He says, "That was the hardest thing I've ever done."
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then he started working for us again.
Yep.
Yeah.
Now he appreciates us.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Do you guys want to do a couple questions? We have some
Sure.
questions from listeners here. Get where I can see this. This one is from Mario Zaragoza.
You can never say the last names.
That's Zaragoza.
It's not even a real word. Go ahead.
Hi, Mario. What do you got?
So they ask, is Amazon a good place to get to-go boxes and all the other essentials?
Yeah, I mean, I started off initially going to Restaurant Depot, which is, for me, it's an Avon, is the closest one. And I did that for about 9 months. And then as we grew, I ended up going to U.S. Foods, so they deliver. But even to this day, I'll still order some stuff from Amazon, or there's web restaurant as well. So it's you never, or I don't at least have one supplier. I would definitely order stuff
Just
from
kinda
Amazon.
shop around and find what's best for you.
Sometimes you just don't need 1,000 blank, whatever it is.
Yeah.
That would take you 6 months to go through when you're starting. So buying 200 from Amazon is fine.
We have some deliveries, local suppliers. We use Restaurant Depot. We like Restaurant Depot. You can see, touch, feel. Like you want a different package contain what size. You can see it, feel it, touch it, measure it. You can look at the food, the vegetable, the produce. My wife's super picky about fresh vegetables. They get delivered. She's never happy. She goes and she sees. If it's not good, she doesn't get it. But we have a unique thing where we have to go to the Asian markets in Quincy, sometimes Boston.
Can man.
Japan, Chinese, Japanese, Korean, they're all different Asian countries, but even I haven't found a Thai market yet, but they sell Thai products. We need special curries and special vegetables. I can't even pronounce the name. We don't have them in this country. They're grown somewhere else, I think. But we have to shop in certain markets to make food unique.
Mm-hmm.
Do you shop on Amazon, Carl?
Yeah. I shop Amazon.
I have.
I got some new kicks. I didn't wear them today. I didn't wear them today because...
Are they white New Balances?
Yes.
Of course. Okay.
Well, why would you get anything else?
This one comes from Dex Van. It says, I'm in the process...
Van what?
Van. V-A-N-N. That's how it's pronounced.
Another dumb name. Go ahead.
I'm in the process of getting some liability insurance. I was wondering what is everyone's recommended coverage amount.
$1 million.
Yeah.
That's not a joke.
It all depends on. I mean, I would suggest get the lowest that's legally available, and I think that every state has a different
Minimum.
minimum.
So, in Massachusetts, if you want to do any type of corporate work, like so, we have agreements with, say, South Shore Hospital or whatever, where we rotate trucks in, or or some of these office parks. You have to. That's another thing you do. I mean, we're providing certificates of insurance all year long, at least 100 of them. And if you want to work in any of these places, you have to have at least $1 million liability, or they won't let you in.
In case you get them food poisoned and then run over them.
Right.
There you go.
It's one of the cheaper insurances.
It is.
I
It's not a
complain
lot.
about my truck insurance. It's over $4,000. I think it's ridiculous.
Yeah, so you have liability insurance, but your food truck, you also have auto insurance.
Auto insurance. and then you
So
have
they're
liability.
two separate.
Now, is there
Workers'
an
comp.
additional fee to like the auto insurance because you have cooking equipment and whatnot on the truck itself?
Yeah, I mean, it's all packaged, in one, the value of the truck, and,
Yeah.
Just as if you, owned a Porsche or compared to a Kia. I don't know, what's a cheaper car, but, it's all built in because, there's equipment and it's more valuable.
How's your Porsche?
Next question. My Porsche?
Yeah.
I had to put new railings up last week on it because it was rotted. I thought you said porch.
That was terrible. That was the worst joke.
Ah,
This one's Mike Burns. I'm trying to start an ice cream truck. I've done a lot of research on licensing, and I'm fairly confident I won't have a problem passing the test for the food handling and distribution permits. But from what I see online, there are certain legal standards for the type of equipment used in the truck. I'm trying to get an idea of what it will cost me to outfit the truck, not including the price of the truck. I wanted to be able to serve high-quality ice cream rather than just pre-packaged cheap ice cream.
The best.
NSF
Yeah.
certified.
Are you done yet, or are you
NSF
still reading that
certified.
goddamn question?
Yeah, so NSF certified, but the key would be to contact the town that you're in prior to.
There's very
buying
specific
stuff.
inspections.
Yep.
If you have a milk, dairy product,
Yep.
ice cream, those things have to be cleaned meticulously.
Yep.
And they're inspected diffently.
Yep.
than-
They
Milk,
have to have
ice cream,
certifications
yeah.
every
Very, very,
6 months or 3
Different from
months.
soft serve is different
Yep.
from frozen, different
soft
licenses.
serve, the light,
But I would say if you're going to start a food truck and you're going to have an ice cream truck as a food truck, get a really good freezer.
But, and again,
yeah.
don't go residential. So some food trucks make that mistake.
With the
if they're
residential
because
freezer?
if they're building it themselves, they're like, I found a freezer on Craigslist.
Right.
It has to be
the
certified.
pre-packaged ice cream,
Commercial.
those food trucks, they use what they call cold plate freezers. So what they do is they plug them in overnight, and the cold plates freeze, and they'll stay cold for 12, 18 hours. So they can drive all day with no generator, and the chests stay very cold. It's a cold plate. So they don't need to run a generator. It's a different style where you've got soft serve. You got to be so careful with dairy product and the cleaning of those machines,
Yeah.
and what happens when they're off. If you're driving, is a generator running? If that goes out of temperature, you can create all kinds of problems.
So, I mean, these regulations are all through the Public Health Department, the food code.
Mm-hmm.
So regulations for ice cream trucks are listed, and they should probably get that.
So when you buy a truck, do you typically buy a food truck, or do you buy a truck and make it a food truck?
All depends on your budget.
Good.
Yes.
Right. Exactly.
Yes.
My question is, if you buy an ice cream truck, or if you're going to get in the ice cream truck business, can you just play normal music, or do you have to play all that stuff all the time? They all have the same music.
What's normal music, Carl?
Normal music is like Bob Dylan, or
Well, now you laugh
Eric
about
Clapton.
the ice cream truck that goes to the neighborhoods, and everybody gets in. The parents get annoyed, the kids get excited, But it's part of our summer when the ice cream truck comes through. And I've always joked with with the food truck is you could do like, for adults, like ice cream truck for adults. So then now you drive through the neighborhood with a food truck. Could that concept work? We tried it years ago. It didn't work that great, but we're revisiting it, and it's actually now, because the recognition's there, that to go into a gated community with 1,000 units, 1,500 units, sit by the pool, the clubhouse, and you tell them we'll be here once a week. We started doing that again, and it's popular. It's working for us. It's not like we're not driving through the neighborhood ringing a bell, but we'll say we'll come into your neighborhood or to your complex once a week. Here's our menu, and
we've totally had to morph with COVID and get creative.
Something we're changing. We can change, and that's what we've been doing. It's working.
Now, when you come up with a novel idea like that, do you reach out to the rest of the association, or you're like, I'm going to keep that one close to the vest until
they figure it
out?
I have that thought sometimes, but there's so much work out there. I don't think we can keep up with it.
Right.
It got so bad. I was 3, 4, maybe 5 when things really started rolling, and South Shore Food Truck started, and we went to 30 people. I got so busy, I literally closed my website, unplugged my phone. I went from begging people to work. I talked about the hot dog salesman to I tried to answer all the calls to explain why I couldn't do the job because I was booked. And people get angry at you, and I never experienced 10 people a day calling me like, I want you to come serve in my backyard. I said, I can't do it. I can't do it. I get tired of doing it, so I just unplugged the phone, closed the website.
Wow.
That's how busy it's gotten, and
not during COVID, but
pre-COVID. Before all this happened. Yeah.
So
but I don't think we're at their peak. I think you could put 30 more food trucks on the South Shore, and we'd all be busy.
Yep.
So this one specifically asked about barbecue food trucks, but I'm going to kind of ask it to you guys in general because I was wondering this earlier. And this is from Ray Dolo, and he says, how does a barbecue food truck prepare and operate for a back-to-back day events? For example, cook and keep the meat at proper temperatures and out of the danger zone.
That's a great question.
So how do you, when you're doing a festival that's 30,000 people at the festival, like how do you figure out how much food to bring? Do you store it all in the truck? Do you have it somewhere nearby where you can be like, oh, we're out of such and such, go.
So I don't know. There's common calculations. They say the number of attendees divided by the number of trucks times 30%, right?
And some is experience. Some is just you know the event.
Right.
Yeah.
As far as holding, and so I just want to mention there's a Facebook group, I'm a Food Trucker, that has 15,000 food truckers in it. So, in other words, for specifics for barbecue or something like that, if somebody's thinking about starting a food truck, it's a fantastic resource.
Yeah.
Everybody that's new asks these questions, and there's all these really experienced people that will answer it. But yeah, I think barbecue guys, takes 12 to 24 hours to get their food ready.
Right.
So
that's who saying like we do a pulled pork sandwich, 15 hours smoke. We have a $5,000 commercial smoker. You can't use it in a competition. It's illegal because it's foolproof. You just press a button, put a wood chip in it, and it comes out perfect. We have to do it time at our event. We have a big event. We'll put in 60, 80 pounds. If we miss guests and it's 2 hours at the event, we run out of pulled pork. We pull the sign down. We have 12 other choices. So we try to get it right. If it's left over, you package it, bag it, you put it in a freezer, and you save it. Some products hold, like pulled pork holds very well. If you package it right, seal it, and freeze it, you couldn't tell the difference, so you heat it up and cook it again. Other products don't do well, and you tend to stay away from them.
So, Karl, I don't know if you remember, but this is the last call.
Last call.
So, last call is where we go around the table. You can plug whatever you want to plug. It's complete open forum, so you can say your piece. So we'll go to Karl because we haven't had a Karl last call in months.
I want to thanks for all the emails that I've been getting while I've been off the podcast.
I didn't get any.
I didn't get any emails at all?
No.
I told my wife send one.
She emailed something about
forget it. Listen, I don't even want to know. I don't even want to know. But thanks for listening. If you're in Plymouth, downtown Plymouth, come on down to the New World Tavern, 56 in Main Street. We're, we do it all. We've got beer, wine, liquor, great food.
Outdoor seating.
Outdoor seating now, yep. Great looking owner. And I got new rugs. I just got them in today. So come on down and
spill some beer.
Yeah, feel my carpet.
June.
I guess for me it would be the Social Food Truck Association. If you're a new food trucker, it's a tremendous resource. And, Food Truck Tuesdays, Tuesday and Thursday through August in Hanover, Forge Pond Park.
Awesome. Dave?
Come see Away Cafe at 2 Pond Park Road in Hingham for lunch Tuesday to Friday. Best Thai food in town and beyond.
Nice. I'm going to plug Tatum, our good friend across the street, the craft beer seller, for all your craft beer, boutique wine needs. She even does charcuterie over there now with like cheese and meats. And so if you're in Plymouth after you go out to eat at the New World Tavern, you can swing over there, get a 4-pack to go home or a bottle of wine or something like that.
Should we thank Fish or
Who?
exactly?
Oh, Fish.
Fish is our producer.
Fish,
And he
producer, editor,
cuts out all our swears.
See, the only person who thanks him is Jordan.
And he was really late today. But we want to thank him for coming in and helping us out. Because without him, this would be a really, really good show.
It was really good. Never mind. So I just want to say it's good to be back, Karl. Record in person is always
Always a good time.
a good time. I was going to say a pleasure, but that's not.
No, it's not a pleasure. It's
So
just a good
if you
time.
guys have questions, you can write into the bartalkcast@gmail.com with your questions, complaints, hate mail, whatever. You can find us at all the social medias at bartalkcast on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, all that. And you can hear us again in 2 weeks.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks for listening to the podcast. You can find us on all social medias at Inebriart, except for Instagram, we're at Inebriart6. You can email us with your questions, complaints, and whatnot at inebriart@yahoo.com. And if you're looking for more podcasts, you can check out the other podcasts on our network, Retro Redoctopus, America's Hometown Horror, and, of course, Bar Talk, Old Colony, and Inebriart Podcast, the original. So check those out and subscribe and comment so we can reach more people, and thanks for listening.